Hello, everybody, and hope this is going to be another interesting show for you on recruiter enablement. I'm here with Luke Eaton, and thank you very much for joining me. Luke, give us a quick introduction.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for inviting me. I really enjoyed your interview so far, so hopefully I can be a decent addition. My name's Luke. I'm currently the head of TA for a company called Atlas Assistants. But over the course of my career, for the past 10 years or so, I've worked in an embedded talent company, and I've acted as a fractional head of TA for hyper-growth tech companies. So my role is to embed for a period of a year or two with a team, or to recruit a team of recruiters, help them get rid of any functional sort of blockers around talent acquisition, any blockers that stop a tech company growing with their investment. So a lot of that is setting up talent operations, systems, processes, best practices, and of course, getting the hard hires done and making sure that the hiring processes scale, and then training our replacements and then going away. So it's kind of like Mary Poppins of talent acquisition. We sort of float in, get things set up, and then float away when the wind changes. So that's what I've been doing for the past 10, 15 years. Before then, I was actually a magician, if you can believe that. I was a magician for 10 years before I was in recruitment, just doing corporate events and things like this. Before then, I was a croupier. Before then, I was a chemist. Before then, I was a window cleaner. And then that's me up to childhood. So you've got my life history right there.
I have not heard of very many people with such a varied career history. Now, I think a lot of people would say that recruiter enablement would call on lots of magic skills. So I can see the transition there that you've made nicely. And it sounds like the type of recruitment that you've done, the type of work that you've done, enabling recruiters has been a vital part of everything you've had to do. So give us a quick description. What's recruiter enablement to you?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it? Recruitment doesn't have a lot of common terms. And I think recruitment enablement, that's why I really like your series, is to actually find some common definitions around recruitment enablement. And one of the things I learned when I first started supporting hyperscaling companies was that talent operations, recruitment operations was very, very important. Having the data, making it transparent and available, and being able to pull insight from that data, decide on a plan over the course of the quarter, execute, measure, and then set up those cycles of continuous improvement. Really important if you're the talent or strategist in a business to be able to do that. And that's fine. But recruiter enablement, in my view, is what allows that to scale. So I was working with a largest fintech in Europe for a period of 2 years. And at that point, I was managing 24 recruiters across 6 locations in North America and in Europe. So how does one person enable, coach, lead, progress, and stretch 24 people? You don't very well, right? It does not scale because you're always limited by your time.
Yeah.
So one of the things I learned about recruitment enablement is setting up the systems and processes that allow recruiters, individual contributing recruiters, to see the same insights that you do. So give them the same access to the same data, give them a base understanding of recruitment operations that allows them to see insights, and then and give them the bandwidth to actually make improvements themselves. And that, to me, is the difference. The difference is that recruitment operations is a kind of a top-down strategic function. Recruitment enablement is allowing every recruiter in the business the knowledge and the capabilities to improve their own skills. And it's something magic really happens when you nail that, which is that they start communicating with each other, to improve their knowledge base. Yeah. And in the one-to-ones, they'll come to you in their one-to-ones with ideas. They're coming to you with ideas, and they're saying that, like, rather than me dragging 24 people up a hill, I've got 24 people coming to me for a one-to-one saying, I saw this, this is a conversion rate that I'm currently looking at. I don't think it's very good. I spoke to Nina, and hers is like 20% higher than mine, so I'm now using her interview prep. Here's my idea for improving it. What do you think? So all of a sudden, I'm just checking homework, right? And they're leading the charge for making all of these little improvements. And of course, as a leader at the very top, you can see all these marginal gains, these marginal improvements and conversions aggregate into more hires for the same level of effort, for the same resources. I could actually show you, so you got me excited. This is my bag, but I could give you like a visual example if that helps.
Please do. That'd be very interesting to see.
Okay, I will show you this. So this is just a dashboard that I bootstrap from free tools, and I do this for most of my companies anyway, but one page for funnel metrics. So if you were to look at this is essentially an aggregation of all of the volume, the conversions, every stage that allows you to kind of visualize a recruitment process. And as a leader, you can look at the conversions and say to yourself, well, how do we get this outreach to screen up to say 8 to 12%? And then you can come up with a plan, right? Let's do a nurture campaign. Let's improve our sourcing or whatever it is, that's fine. But again, how do you roll something out like that out? This is talent operations to me, but if you allow the mid-level recruiters the same access to the same data, so they all my recruiters have access to this, and then allow them to see everyone's conversion. It's almost like salary transparency, right? It's the same benefits. All of a sudden, I was in a bit of a rock and roll mood when I when I wrote this, as you can see. But what this means is that, let's say Mick Jagger down here has only got 6% conversion. Nina Simone's got 8.2% conversion. So I want Mick Jagger, before he comes to me, or before I have to find out, why he's spending so much time sourcing, and then coming up with a plan with him in his one-to-one, then he has to go and execute it, and I have to check up on that, and then times that by 24 recruiters. You've got Mick Jagger going to Nina saying, Nina, what on earth are you saying to these candidates?
Yes.
And then Mick Jagger comes to me in his one-to-one and he's saying, this is what I want to do. Is this okay? And then all of a sudden my level of effort is a yes, no, or a good job. And this, to me, this is what recruitment enablement is. It's taking all of this stuff, making it transparent, and then empowering the recruiter to go out and find those improvements for themselves. And this really is what has been the biggest benefit and the biggest lesson I learned in that fintech. It's the only way you can bring up 24 plus recruiters with one manager. Hopefully I wasn't waffling too much there. I'm very excited about this type of stuff.
No, not at all. And so am I. And do you know something? This is one of the reasons that I love doing this YouTube channel, because while we get lots of common themes coming through, nearly every time I talk to somebody, they bring something up that's new. And the concept, what I've learned from you here is the benefits of, first of all, of course, capturing data and measuring that data. But the big one I've learned here is around transparency and almost like league tables and encouraging collaboration. And of course, you want a rising tide to lift all boats in this scenario. I've said that a few times on this channel because I think that's really quite important. But what you've just demonstrated there with that visual is, like, if I was Mick Jagger, I mean, I would absolutely be going and talking to Nina Simone about, how she's achieved such good response rates or whatever that one was. But I think that's a really, really good one. Absolutely.
You made a really good point around sort of like the league table piece. Like, it's important to make sure that they understand that this isn't a competition, and the reason is that a lot of ex-agency recruiters, I believe, have a pretty poor relationship with data because it's been used arbitrarily as like a weapon to hit them over the head. Have you done your 10 before 10 and all of this? So it's important to make sure that recruiters understand that this is an empowerment tool. When they make an improvement for the same level of effort, they can make more hires. But also on the flip side, as a manager, you have to be able to have them understand that for the same number of hires, you can do it in less time. Go pick your kids up from school, or go do something else, right? So allowing them sort of control over that piece, over how they improve, and then what they're going to use that extra time for, is this massive empowerment tool. It's really important to drive that home, particularly for newer recruiters or recruiters who feel that this is, as you say, like a league table or some like leaderboard. It is absolutely not. It's a way where we can all get together and then see who's great at what, and then go speak to them, right? So it's a way of them empowering themselves, and I think it drives better retention as well as better performance.
Yeah, no, I get that absolutely. So it's not you haven't done your 10 before 10. It's more so here's the art of the possible. Look what Nina's been able to achieve. And if you can learn a couple of things from Nina, then great. And it might be that Nina needs to learn from Mick on a couple of things as well, because you go into the different aspects of what the metrics look like, and that's what I mean about the rising tide lifts all boats. And if Nina's the person to go to for your outreach response rates, whereas Mick might be the right person to talk to about offer to acceptance ratio, for example. So
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, no, I love it. Absolutely. Luke, thank you very much for taking the time to join me today. I know there's lots and lots more that I could talk to you about. So hopefully we can get back together at some point. But in the meantime, that's been a really great learning for us. And thank you very much.
Brilliant. Well, I'll see you soon.